right? But in animals, respiration performs as a single unit. But in animals, respiration performs as a single unit. Respiration performs as a single unit. Respiration performs as a single unit. Second point. During respiration in plants, second point. During respiration in plants, there is a little transport of respiratory gases. There is a little transport of respiratory gases from one part of the plant to the other. From one part of the plant to the other. Full stop. Respiratory gases are usually transported. Over long distances inside an animal during respiration. Inside an animal during respiration. Next, third one. The respiration in plants occurs at a slow rate. The respiration in plants occurs at a slow rate. But in animals occurs at a much faster rate. Occurs at a much faster rate. So these are the three aspects which will make the respiration difference between, like plant respiration is differs from the animal respiration. So now let us see that how these plants will get the oxygen means. So always plants will get the oxygen by the process called as diffusion. Understand? So plants get oxygen. All of you keep heading. Plants get oxygen by which process I said?
Diffusion.
By diffusion. So that is what you should know. Understand? So plants get oxygen by diffusion. So let us start with this. Understand? So as we know that plants have a branching shape. Understand? Means in the sense of plants is having a different shapes. So they have a quite a large surface area in comparison of their volumes. Is it yes or no? So they are occupying a more larger surface area because of large number of branches. Understand? Huge number of branches will be there, sub branches, leaves and all. So that only they have a large surface area. So that is the reason a diffusion alone can supply all the cells of the plants with as much oxygen as they need for respiration. Understand? So that is why diffusion occurs in the roots, stems, and leaves of plants. Every part of the plant, this diffusion will occurs, and this diffusion alone is enough to supply the, understand, required oxygen, or else enough required oxygen for the respiration. Understanding? Respiration. Why? What is the reason behind? Because of plants, they have, understanding, a very large surface area. Very large surface area. Understanding? In comparison to their volume. So that is why they can supply, understanding, all the cells of the plants with a much oxygen as they need for the respiration process. So that is why only the diffusion is enough to supply the oxygen in plants. Understand? That is what you should remember. Why the diffusion is alone is sufficient to supply the required oxygen for respiration. Understanding? And what is the process? How the plants can get the oxygen? So how the plants can get oxygen? By the process called as?
Diffusion.
Process called as diffusion. So why
Diffusion.
the diffusion is alone is enough? Because of plants have branching shape.
Not surface. Yeah.
So they have a branching shape. They have a different number of branches, and their surface area is, understanding, very huge in size, so that every part like stems, leaves, and everything, roots, individually they can start absorbing, means they will start doing the diffusion so that they can get the enough oxygen, because individual respiration is taking place here. Plants stems can do the respiration separately, roots can do the respiration separately, and leaves can do the respiration separately. So if you'll understand this, then we will go one by one, like respiration in plants, like in the sense of 3 parts respiration will take place. What is that? Respiration in roots. Next one, respiration in
Leaves.
and as well,
Leaves.
next one as
And stems.
leaves. Understand? So please all of you write this. Later we can go for the respiration in 3 different parts of plant. Right? Plants having a branching shape. Plants having a branching shape. Under this you write. Plants having a branching shape. Plants having a branching shape. Again, 2 more fellows not at join. Second meeting also they should join, correct? Okay. Plants have a branching shape. So they have quite a large surface area. In comparison to their volume. Therefore, diffusion alone can supply all the cells of the plants with as much oxygen as they need for respiration.
So therefore, diffusion alone can supply.
They can supply all the cells of the plants. Diffusion alone can supply all the cells of the plants with as much oxygen as they need, for respiration. Full stop. Diffusion occurs in the roots, stem, and leaves of the plants. Diffusion occurs in roots, stems, and leaves of the plants. Is it completed? Now we will see the individual respiration in plants. So we have a 3 individual respiration in plants. Understand? So what are that? Respiration in plants. 3 places respiration will take place individually. What are that? Respiration in
root, stem, respiration in leaves.
stems, respiration in leaves. So now let us come to here. All of you keep heading first. Respiration in roots, and you leave it. After studying only we can write something. So respiration in roots. So as we know that roots, how they are and where they are present. Is it they are present above the ground or below the ground?
Below the ground.
Roots are present inside the soil. Is it yes or no?
No.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
The roots are going deeper inside the soil. So let us see as they are present, present in between, in between the soil layers. So now as we know that from class 7th you have studied, soil is a porous medium. Is it yes or no? Soil is a porous medium. Do you understand? Soil is a porous medium. Have you observed, have you accepted or not? Class 7th soil chapter you will study. So the organisms, the microorganisms as well as earthworms and all, they are living inside the soil somewhere. You have studied the types of soil also. Where sandy soils, have you remembered? So somewhere here, the earthworms or something is present. Have you noticed it or not? So how it is sustaining inside the soil? Understanding? Yeah, humus. Because this air is having a porous medium, means the sense of the soil which is present here, everything understanding, having a holes in the sense of, it will allow the air to pass, not deeper inside the earth. Till certain level, earth is present, yeah, like humus and upper layer of the earth is having a porous medium so that the air will be absorbed by it. Is it yes or no? So the air will go inside it. So that air only will be absorbed by these living organisms, microorganisms as well as these earthworms and all. Now, that is why you may notice it. After rain, all the earthworms will come onto the surface of the earth. Have you noticed it? Yes or no? After the rain, all the earthworms will come to the surface of the earth because all the pores of the soil is filled with the water, so they cannot get the sufficient oxygen. So what will happen? They will come to the surface of the earth for the respiration process. Understand? So that is what it will be, because it is also what? Aerobic respiration. So like here, whatever the roots, the same way, the roots are also present inside the soil. Are you people understand, Ra? The roots also present inside the soil. So these roots absorb the air which is present in between the particles of a soil. So if we take here, for example, let me discuss. So as we know that if you observe the roots, so they will be present inside the soil. So inside the soil is also having gaps between them. So that gaps are filled with what? Air. So that air, that roots absorb that oxygen from the air present in between the soil particles through the root hair. So you may notice it, any kind of root, it may having a main roots, and sides it is having a root hair. So let us discuss this picture, then you can understand the more even better. So if you observe here, this is the root of some plant, you can see here. So this is the main root, So these are the main roots which can absorb the water and everything. But here if you observe root hair is present. Have you noticed it? So many plants we can see this root hair. Yes or no? Every plant is having this root hair. So through this root hair only, understand? So these are the soil particles. If you observe here, middle we have a gaps. So these gaps and all filled with what? Air. Understand? So this air is also contains oxygen. So this oxygen is absorbed by this root hair for the respiration reaction. Do you understand, Ra? So if you observe here, this is the ground level they are saying that, and if you observe here, gaps are present. So this through these gaps, the air will be absorbed by the soil. Understand? So that air is only useful for the respiration in roots. Do you understand, Amma? Yes or no? So that is called as respiration in roots. So if you observe here, understand? So in these roots, whatever it is present, the roots of the plants, they will take the oxygen required for respiration from the air which is present in between the soil particles by the process of, by what process they will take oxygen? By the process called as, what is
Diffusion.
oxygen? Supply of oxygen in plants, what is that? By the process called as diffusion.
Diffusion.
If we take here the extensions of the epidermal cells of the roots, epidermal cells of the roots, that is only which to called as root hair. Understand? So this root hair only means in the sense of if you take any kind of root, understand? Suppose plant, you can see. So if you observe, so the roots will be like this, and here the cells is extended in the form of like a hair. So that hair is only called as root hair. So through this root hair only, plant is absorbing the oxygen. Means the roots of the plant is absorbing oxygen. So here, the root hair are in contact with air which is present in the soil. Means suppose here if you take the soil particles, so the air which is present here, they are contact with this root hair. They are very contact with this root hair. This is solid particles, means soil, observe. So they are very contact. Now, whenever you see here, oxygen diffuses into this root hair. Whatever it is present in this air, it will be diffuses into this root hair and it reaches to the cells of the roots for the respiration process. So as well as again what respiration will process takes place, they will produce carbon dioxide gas again. So the carbon dioxide gas produced in the cells of the roots during respiration again move through the same root hair, it will reaches, understanding, by the process of diffusion. Means now outside oxygen is diffusing into inside. Now out inside carbon dioxide diffusing into outside, so that the respiration in roots occurs by the diffusion of respiratory gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen, both by the what? Both by a single part of the plant. That is only called as extensions of the epidermal cells. Understanding? Epidermal cells of the plant's roots. So that is only called as what, Amma? What we should call? Root hair. Understanding? So the diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide in root, who is taking place? Who is the carrier of gases, respiratory gases in root diffusion? Who is that, Amma?
Root hair.
Root hair. That is what you should remember. So outside oxygen will be diffuses into inside the root cell for the respiration. After respiration, carbon dioxide will be diffuses from inside to outside through only this root hair. Understand? So that is why this is called as respiration in roots. Understand? So here, if we'll see here, so as we know that the gases are exchanged through the root hair, but you can see it has been found that the land plants die if their roots remains waterlogged for a considerable time. Have you noticed it? You may notice it in the village ponds and all. Suppose if there is no rain, still they will sustain. How many of you noticed it? If continuously water is stagnant. Because of heavy rains, you may see that water will be stored. If normally not there in a rivers and all, so many kinds of thorn containing plants and all will grow. But if you keep the water stagnant, so many plants will die. Have you noticed it? Why? Can you able to say the reason? Anybody think with your brain and you tell. If we store the water continuously, water logging, if we keep the water surrounding by this plant, what will happen? Till here continuously I will keep the water. So what will happen, Amma? Speak, yeah. This plant will
We
die.
will observe it.
I will say that if you'll keep the water continuously for a long period of time, this plant will die. This plant will die. So why it is? Can you able to say? Anybody? Any reason? If you try to think.
So because plants cannot absorb the oxygen due to the water. Present.
If we keep that, understand, this land plants, whatever the plants can grow on the land, they will die if their roots remains in waterlogged. Means in a sense of their roots are inside the water for a long period of time, waterlogged for a long period of time, then they will die. Why? Because what will happen if water is present, then there is no absorption of air by the soil. So that what will happen? There is no respiration process in the roots. So if there is no respiration, no energy for the roots, so that what will happen? Roots will die. If roots will die, is it the plant will alive? Is it the plant will alive? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Nobody is communicating because already they are tied. I don't know. So if you observe here, understanding, we can see the plants, those who are stagnant, those who are growing land, understanding, land plants we can call them. They will die if their roots remains water considerable, because too much water expels all the air from this, understanding, in between the soil particles. So whatever the air present in the soil particles, everything will be filled by water, because air is less denser. Air is less denser than water, so that slowly this water will be replaced all the gaps between the soil particles, so that air will be go away from it. So what will happen? Due to that, oxygen is not available. Oxygen is not available. Available for what purpose? For the aerobic respiration. For the aerobic respiration. So that what will happen? If no aerobic respiration, what will happen, Amma? Under this conditions, what will happen? Nobody is
The
responding.
plant will die.
So
No energy.
oxygen is
No
not
energy.
available to the roots
So
for
that
aerobic respiration. So under these conditions, understand? So the roots will
Yes.
respire anaerobically. Understand? If anaerobic respiration will take place, we used to get they will produce some product. What is that product? Instead of aerobic respiration, they will produce anaerobic process will take place because of no oxygen is supplied. So that we used to get one product called. What is that product? Think about it. Your notes I have taught already. Can you able to say that product?
Ethanol.
Ethanol. Ethanol is a what? Ethanol is a what? A common name for ethanol, methanol and all. We used to call it as. What we should call?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Understand? So that is the reason. If you are keeping these land plants, understanding, land plants in this water for a stagnant period, means a considerable time, so that air will escape from it, so that the gaps and all filled by the water. So no supply of oxygen. So that what will happen? Aerobic respiration won't be takes place.
Cannot take place.
Aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration will take place. Anaerobic respiration will take place, so that instead of releasing carbon dioxide and water, what it will release? It will release the
ethanol and carbon dioxide.
It will release the alcohol. Alcohol it will release. So because of this alcohol may kill the plant. May kill the.
Sir, but you said that non-green plants only knows anaerobic respiration.
Yes, but here there is no supply of oxygen. Do you understanding? So that is why for in the sense of what? Few times you may see that few animals, if they are like jellyfish, starfish and all, if they are not finding any kind of food, what they will do? They will start eating their own body parts because again it will start growing. Do you understand, Amma? If they are not getting any food, what they will do? They will start eating their own parts. Like same way here, if plant roots are not getting because they are stuck inside the water, there is no way of doing the respiration process. In the sense of aerobic respiration won't be takes place. It will be because the water will be long period of time. They will stay like months it will store. So still that it cannot survive because there is not like us our body. Energy is transported throughout the system because individual respiration is taking place. So what will happen? Roots cannot survive. So if they want to survive, they will start doing even that period of time. If they want to survive, they will start doing the anaerobic respiration. That's all. So that less energy itself, at least they will survive. But what it is happening along with that, alcohol will produce. So that this alcohol what? It will break our stomach. It will kill. That's all. So that is what after 2 or 3 months they will die. You may notice it. If roots are die, automatically everything will die. Do you understand? Okay,
Yes.
Ma? That is. So now this is all about the
Yes, sir.
respiration in roots. Is there any doubt? Anybody you can ask me. Respiration in roots, it will be takes place.
No.
Okay, ma? So now, all of you, do you understand or not? Ra? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes. Others?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Now, if you take
Yes,
here,
sir.
respiration in stems. But if you want to understand the respiration in stems of plants, we should remember that a soft stems of small herbaceous plants, they have a stomata in them. Do you notice it? Those who are green in color, very small plants. Understand? Soft stems. They have, like we used to call it as herbaceous plants, small plants. They also have even stomata. Stem also have a stomata. Understand? In them, like if you take hard and woody stems of large plants and trees, if you take, they have, understanding, only lenticels in them. There is no stomata is present. Only they have lenticels. And the color is also, you can see, this will be in green color. And this will be in, what is the color of this? I don't know that name. What we can call maroon color? Maroon. Yes. What is the color of the crop? Plants, yeah, big plants, what is the color? It will be like something like a dried leaf. Is it yes or no? What is that color called as? I don't know the name. Can you able to suggest me?
Magenta also.
All the plants, big plants, what is the color of that stem, mama?
Brown only, sir.
Okay, light brown or maroon or something. Okay, brown color you can take. So that is what. So if you observe here, a small plants, understand, if you want to understand the respiration in stems, because we have two kinds of stems now. Understanding, because few stems are green in color, they have stomata in them. Understand that, like small plants like herbivores, herbaceous plants. So now if it comes to here, like a very well developed plants, we used to call it as woody stems. Woody stems, they have lenticels. So if you take here, this lenticels is a small area of bark. Means on the stem, if you observe, these lenticels are the small area of bark in woody stem where the cells are loosely packed and allowing the gases exchange to take place between air and the living cells of the stem. So now, if you want to see that, how many of you noticed while you are next time, if you visit any plant today, if you are seeing any plant in your home, suppose if you have, try to observe very carefully. You can find these lenticels, understanding, in our home also. So if you are finding or not, I must know. So then if you are understanding, if you're finding that, then tomorrow we can discuss that. So you can see here, what is this lenticels and how they are present? Have you noticed here? We have a small gap where here the tissue is present very loosely packed compared to everywhere. Here very hard everywhere, but here alone you can see like this gaps we can see in the bark. Have you noticed it anywhere in the plants? Yes or no? Today you notice it. Understand? So this is only called as lenticels. Understand? So here if you'll see, these cells are present. Understand? The cells are packed very freely, so that these cells will only allow the exchange of gases from inside to outside and as well as outside to inside. Understanding? They will help in respiration in a very big plants. Okay, wow. So now that is what will happen here. So in that woody plants, if you take away a small area of these plants, they have these lenticels. So there only all the exchange of gases will takes place between the air and as well as the living cells of the stem. So if you remember that, then with this I will stop today. Then respiration in stems will continue in the tomorrow's next class. Respiration in leaves as well as stems will continue. So once if it is over, then we'll go for the concept respiration in animals. That's all. So thank you all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Wait. So now I will give some work today.